Hey, church, good to see you this morning. Excited to be able to share a couple of things with you about decisions that have been made or upcoming events and things. But we have decided this week that we are going to go ahead and do outdoor services for the rest of the summer. So we've done it for a month already, and we're praising the Lord again. We've got this amazing amphitheater to be able to do that. But instead of kind of playing it week by week and deciding what we're going to do and trying to figure out when it's going to be capable for us to get inside, we've just decided let's do outdoor services for the whole summer. So for the next 6 weeks at least, we are going to do outdoor services in our amphitheater with similar protocols that we've been doing so far. Masks again being worn from the car until you get to your spot in the amphitheater, and then you can take your mask off once you are seated and socially distanced. And as long as you're not having a conversation up close and personal with someone, you don't need to wear that mask. So that is, we're excited about that. Again, it just kind of takes, the question marks out of this, what's going to go on in the summer, and having to make that decision each week. But we recognize as well that creates a little bit of attention in the sense that, we haven't had too hot of Sundays yet, but they probably are going to be coming in July. And so even this Sunday here in a couple of days is supposed to be up close to 100 degrees again. And so that means at service time, it's going to be, at 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's going to be close to 80 degrees. And by the end of service at 10 o'clock, it's going to be pretty close to, mid 80s to upper 80s, maybe even 90 degrees. And so with that in mind, we've so far been asking people not to bring pop-up tents, pop-up shade structures, those kind of things, because of blocking people's views. But also our concern was people gathering around those pop-ups and not being socially distanced while they're in the service. So we have decided, though, we're going to go ahead and start allowing those pop-ups to be used. And so if you've got one, we encourage you to bring one so that you can be shaded. And because that's the big thing, is it's temperature-wise may not be too hot, but when you got the sun like it's beating down on me right now, it creates some uncomfortability there, right? And you start to feel the heat, and it's a lot harder to kind of manage that hour and a half of time in the service. So anyway, so if you've got a pop-up tent, we'd love for you to bring that. However, we are asking that you only use those pop-up tents in the back part of the amphitheater and to the west side of the amphitheater as well. So if you bring a pop-up tent, you're going to set that up in that back section of the amphitheater. So you'll leave the front section free and clear of any kind of obstructions of people's view. And so people can sit up there if they don't have a pop-up tent. If they just have an umbrella or something, then they can just sit up in the front section. People with the pop-up tents, they can sit in the back section, and it'll work. We also ask that you don't block the view of our sound guys, so Bill and Jeff and Rick, that they need to be able to see the stage and see who's on the stage and whatnot. And so anyway, so make sure you keep your tents out of their view as well. And that way we can have a little bit of shade, but also not going to be blocking people's views too much. So that's this coming Sunday. Also wanted to mention on Sunday this week we're doing communion again, and so we'll have those communion elements ready for you when you come in, and be able to take those, one for each person in your family that's going to be taking communion with us. And then of course on July 12th, super excited to be doing a baptism, and so that will be outdoors as well, and excited about all that. So outdoor services for the next 6 weeks, and when we get into August, we will again reevaluate and see where we're at that point. We're actually currently scheduled for the 16th of August to be indoors and have 2 services. That was the plan from being, the beginning of the year, that once school is back in session, that's when we go back to 2 services, and so we're planning to be indoors on that Sunday. But again, we'll reevaluate in August, first part of August, and then we'll let you know. If we need to, we can continue to do outdoor services through the rest of August and even through September. And that we, again, praising the Lord that we've got this amphitheater. So few churches are meeting right now, but we have the ability to do that, and it's actually pretty comfortable so far. And with the shade structures, I think that'll help as well for those who maybe are more sensitive to the heat, for sure. So anyway, one last thing I just wanted to mention as well, because now that we have made this decision that for at least the next 6 weeks we're going to be meeting outside. I want to kind of speak to those that have been waiting for things to change before they come and be part of our service on Sunday. So I've heard there's at least three categories of people. Some are not coming because it's too early in the morning, 8:30, instead of maybe their 11 o'clock service people usually, and so 8:30 is just too early for them. And so I just want to encourage you that if that's you, that we know it's early. I love mornings, but I know there's a lot of people that aren't morning people. My wife is one of those, and so we recognize the challenges of trying to get up extra early. But just for another 6 weeks, you're not going to come because we have 8:30 services. I just encourage you to rethink that, and at least try to find a way to come on Sundays. So that you can once again re-engage with our community in that way, and it's just something different about being in the space together, right? And so I just want to encourage you with that, to not allow getting up a little bit of early on a Sunday to keep you from coming and being part of it again, especially now that we know, okay, for at least the next 6 weeks we're going to be out there. It's going to be 8:30 service, so come on out, come and get engaged. Second group of people that I've heard that are waiting to come and join our services are those that don't like having to wear the masks. And again, even in that group, there's probably a couple of different. Some that just claustrophobic or whatever. Other people, maybe it's just more of a this is not right, and I shouldn't have to wear a mask kind of thing. So it's a rights issue or whatever else. But again, I just want to encourage you to come and be a part of our service. You only have to wear the mask between your car and where you're seated in the amphitheater. If you're in conversation with somebody up close, and honestly, if you really are that opposed to wearing the mask, we don't mind if you don't wear a mask. I mean, we're not going to come and harass you about it. But again, we do ask that you would remain just make sure you have that socially distanced space, so that you can have conversations with the people, and you're not, potentially contaminating or spreading the virus unintentionally or whatever it may be. And so these are the protocols that we're putting in place, not because it's what we're supposed to by the state or the governor says we are. We're doing it because, again, we love each other and we want to love those who are more vulnerable to the virus. And the virus is a real thing. It's out there. It's, the cases are going up again. It's spreading like wildfire again. And so we just, put ourselves out a little bit and maybe wear a mask for a few minutes while we go from our car until we get to the amphitheater. It's a small price to pay in order to be able to worship together in our services on Sunday. And then finally, the third group of people that I am aware of is those who maybe aren't coming because they are vulnerable, or because they're extra vulnerable to the virus, and so they're concerned about being around people. And again, that group of people, I totally get it and I understand, but I would encourage you to come out as well. Again, we've got these parking spaces for you to stay in your car, so you're not going to be interacting with people face to face or in the open air, right? And so you can still be in the space with us, watching the service from your car. We've got FM radio transmitters, so you can listen to the service in your car as you're sitting there in the car. And so it would, it's just great, but you're in the space with us. We've only had like 2 cars, I think, each week that have sat there, and so we've got more spaces available for you to do that. And again, afterwards, there may be opportunity for conversation. Crack your window and people can have a brief conversation with you that way if you'd like, or if they can, right? And depending on how wherever you are and how you feel about that. So anyway, we've made this decision. Next 6 weeks, we're going to be outdoors, 8:30 a.m. service. Bring your pop-up tents and your umbrellas, certainly, if you're not going to have a pop-up tent to try to shade you from the sun. But if you haven't been joining us yet, I just encourage you to come out. Come out and be a part of what we're doing. It's amazing what God has been doing in our church, and it's amazing that we got this property. I understand the different reasons for certain people not wanting to be a part of it, and if that's your conviction and you still stay home, that's okay. We still love you, and we still want to try to reach out and connect with you in some way. But again, I just encourage you, if there's any way you could show up and be a part of what we're doing on Sunday, that would be awesome. We want to see it. We're better when you're there. We're better when we're all together as a body of believers. Every piece there able to do their part and be able to contribute to the healthy, realities of our congregation and our church. All right, God's good. He's doing great things. Looking forward to seeing all of you on Sunday. Again, we've got communion this Sunday, and then baptism the following Sunday. What two great events that you should be a part of and want to be a part of, and looking forward to sharing all of that and celebrating together with that. All right, God bless you guys. Have a great day. Have a great Independence Day weekend and celebration with family and friends. And again, we'll see you on Sunday.